although widely debated solution to the paradox is the rare Earth hypothesis, which is the suggestion that the conditions and history of Earth are actually so incredibly uncommon, and the emergence and survival of life is so not what we should expect, that that's enough to explain why it is that we appear to be so alone. Earth is rare, humans are special, and aliens, while they could still exist somewhere, are never at all likely to cross our path. Again, it's one of the more contested theories out there, with many scientists and astronomers arguing that although we naturally think of Earth as being a special place, in reality it isn't. Which is why we're finding more and more examples of Earth-like planets in other star systems. But still, there's also the question of time as well as location. And it could be that humans are here not only because Earth is near perfect for us environmentally speaking, but also because we've managed to make it this far in the first place, while most or all other civilizations have fallen by the cosmic wayside. One question to consider is, how long does a civilization, any civilization, last? The Great Filter theory famously argues that there must be one stage somewhere along the line that most civilizations don't get past. And we debated in another recent video whether humans could have achieved the improbable and passed it already. But for now, let's imagine that we have moved through the Great Filter. If we were the only civilization to have done that, then straight away we could claim to be the last civilization in the universe too. But if we've passed the filter and we're not the only ones to have done so, then the race is on between us and those other hypothetical groups to see who can hang around the longest. The thing that's causing all of us problems, however, is a theory to suggest that the period of intelligence is a small one. The implication being that whenever a civilization becomes advanced, it could only have a short time left before it becomes something else. Extinct. From one point of view, we're talking here about self-destruction. And over just the last 100 years or so, we can quite depressingly see how humankind has steadily racked up many possible ways in which it could bring about its own downfall. Yes, we could consider ourselves advanced by some measures, but we also have nuclear war, fossil fuels, the AI singularity. They all regularly come up whenever there's talk of an apocalypse. But more broadly, there's a general idea known as the brief window hypothesis, which argues that whether we self-destruct or not, our days are certainly numbered. Let's return to the Great Filter. To get to this point, humans have traveled through multiple major stages of development, from abiogenesis to multicellular life forms to industrial civilizations, to name just 3 of the steps along the path that has brought us here to this moment today. And the brief window hypothesis is most concerned with what's happening in the present, in the gap between being an industrial civilization, as we are now, and becoming a spacefaring one, as we hope to be in the future. This is, of course, where humans are currently operating. The idea is, though, that we may never be afforded the time we need to take that next step and expand into space, because before then we'll have been killed off, either via self-destruction or just by some natural Armageddon event. Asteroid or A-bomb doesn't really matter to the brief window. In whichever way it unfolds, the worst is sure to happen before we become advanced enough to properly explore the universe. That's the theory anyway. And if it were true, then being the last civilization would most likely be really bad news. It would mean that humankind was riding its luck, and that sooner rather than later it too would disappear. Our window, just as it has presumably done for all other civilizations, will close, and the chances are that it'll close relatively soon. But naturally, there is another way of looking at this hypothetical wherein humans run out the winners. Because if something like the brief window does exist, but humans have either beaten it or are holding it off indefinitely, then we're exceptions to the norm. And we could again be, or be on the path toward becoming, the last civilization in the universe. Importantly, though, this isn't what most scientific estimates suggest. When it comes to calculating the number of potential alien civilizations there could be, the famous Drake equation is usually at the heart of it. And although the input numbers fluctuate, the equation more often than not leads us to a big number, to there being many hundreds, thousands, or even millions of alien civilizations out there. And yet the Fermi paradox still rules, and we still haven't engaged with or even detected one of them. One other, perhaps crucial reason for that is the extreme distances at play here. With every passing year, humankind is growing to understand just how incredibly massive the universe really is. And when we consider the increasing number of multiverse theories that are emerging too, the scale of existence and reality appears to be becoming too big for even one universe to contain it. On the other hand, the incredible size and distance should lead us with increasing confidence to the conclusion that there has to be other life out there. If humankind is but a drop within an ocean of oceans, then surely there must be other drops hosting life as well. But still, that same understanding of size and distance could also lead us in the opposite direction, and to the realization that we will always be alone. That it's no surprise that we haven't discovered aliens yet, and that we shouldn't expect to discover any in the future either. The universe is simply too big. Approached from this angle, it could well be that every civilization, ours included, does have a certain window in which to work. A period of time to flex its muscles as a technologically advanced, forward-thinking society or group. And actually, that window doesn't even need to be especially brief, because it never really changes anything. And because regardless, no matter how long humanity lasts for, it could never last long enough to find, meet, or link with alien life. And then the same would go for those aliens, too. We can send out all the signals we want then, but it could be that the sheer expanse of space condemns us to going extinct before we ever finally receive a reply. Equally, it could be that any alien signal we pick up in the future could only ever come from a civilization that had long since died out. And so, from our position, we may as well be the last civilization in the universe. Or the first. One of many or one of few. The vast dimensions of time and space could well trump everything else, no matter how much we want or hope or aim for first contact to happen. The brief window hypothesis is for now just one potential route towards solving the Fermi paradox and working out why we still haven't found aliens. It ranks alongside other ideas like the rare Earth hypothesis and the Great Filter theory, debated by scientists, astronomers, philosophers, and anyone with even a passing interest in why we're here. And as we so often see, so many of these ideas are ultimately shaped by the huge, incomparable distances that space forces us to face. And that's why even if we were the last civilization left in the universe, we might never reach the point at which we realize it.